Welcome to the Agents of the Roundtable Wiki Community AMA. Every Monday at 7 p.m. UTC, we discuss Secret Network and its applications with guests from all around the network. This is an audio recording of the AMA. We hope you enjoy.
Hello. Craig is here.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. I see Geo is here. John JPEG is here. The whole
Yep.
Reddit crew. Okay, let me quickly put that as an announcement and then we can start if you guys want.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for hosting this.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We've had some more trouble getting people to come on every week since the market is in a bit of a shitty situation.
Are we ready to start?
Yeah, if you are, I am.
All right. Well, I just want to say thanks to everybody for tuning in to the latest Agents of the Roundtable.
Wait 1 second. I'll try to mute some people. Sorry. Okay, go ahead. Now I'm ready.
All right. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm JPEG Junkie. We're going to be talking with some of the V-IRL team to get the latest alpha on what this project is. So with me is Geo and Jamama, two of the members of the core team. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'll start us off. So I'm Jamama. I'm part of the core team at V-IRL. Been with the Secret Network for years and years now, since 2016, back in the Enigma days. More recently with the network, just playing a bigger role in infrastructure, helping validate, but then working on some other infrastructure projects. And then really with this, with V-IRL, looking at launching and creating tooling for greater utility, both in secret NFTs, but then also in the real world. And that's where V-IRL was born.
Awesome.
Thanks again for having us. I'm Geo, I'm the core team director. So I'm responsible for managing the day-to-day operations, leaving Jamama to focus on the bigger picture, strategic partnerships and all that stuff. I'm also tasked with trying to control Jamama from leaking all the alpha all the time. And somehow I think that's going to be a thankless task today. But we'll see.
Awesome. So yeah, you two are some of the nicest, coolest guys I've met on the Secret Network. Who else is part of the team?
Well, there's a group of 6 of us, rabbits and anons, who came together with a singular goal to form, the core team. So we've got loads of skill sets: devs, project managers, artistic geniuses, business strategists, legal experts, and just cool people who love building stuff, really.
Awesome. So looking at this, from a business standpoint, more than just, an NFT art project, what would you say the mission or the vision of V-IRL is?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So I'm gonna take like 2 steps back and just really thank everybody for one, joining the call, and then 2, for the community that's really forming around V-IRL and in our Discord. Really the it's in my bio, but I'm gonna go kind of like a little off like our talking points, in the sense that it's the people that matter. It's the people that matter first, and so really important to me is building that community. But to answer the question, what's the mission of V-IRL? So our mission is to forge a path in maximizing the use cases of NFTs, right? And so we're doing that through the use of tools that are unique to Secret Network, like private metadata. essentially, this is kind of our tagline, but effectively we're bridging the gap between the virtual space and in real life, right? Using secret network privacy preserving tooling, because it's very hard to want to bridge, and this isn't for everybody, but it's I can say probably for most of our users, especially in the secret network, it's actually pretty hard to bridge our virtual lives to in real life because there's certain things that we want to keep private, right? And you can't do that on other blockchains, other networks, right? Um, and then so one thing, especially in this AMA, that we want to clear up, it's really easy to think of us as just a merch company, or to know us by what we've shared about Genesis Drop. But I really want to stress at the point. I really want to stress this point that we are first and foremost focused on shipping new utility, where we can use NFT technology, and in particular secret NFTs, um, in real world use cases, including but not limited to merchandise ownership with full verification and authenticity, and then access control, right? Ticketing for in real life events. So those are sort of our that's kind of the first drop of information that we're gonna really try to bring home on this AMA, is that first and foremost, we're focused on shipping the utility. And then the way that we're doing that in phase 1 and phase 2 is merchandise, and then event ticketing. And then we'll share more about that in later in this AMA.
That's right. Yeah. So before we get to that, because that's why we're all here, is to hear the unshared alpha about the project. So before we get into that, though, could you take just a minute to go over what has been released so far and what we do know, so that everybody's on the same page?
Yeah, I can probably do a summary, Jemima. It might take a couple of minutes, so bear with us, guys. But as Jemima said, at Viral, we're creating tooling that allows privacy-preserving access to in real-life assets and experiences. So this includes, on one hand, ways to communicate with the in real-life provider, and on the other hand, ways for the in real-life provider to give back to the user a unique custom experience without doxing. So this includes, as an example, exclusive content that only the owner can see in their private metadata, like custom photos of your Genesis shoe being made by Matt, on the Genesis drop, for example. So as Jemima said, our first round of tooling will focus on merch and testing the utility. And just like a word on merch, because there's been a lot of discussion about it, that merch has been done before, right? But never in a one-of-one NFT community themed, never to be repeated, privacy preserved fashion, right? That is truly a first. The Genesis partnership, which is MVC and Secret Network, will never be repeated. So it's an homage to all your favorite dApps and collections on Secret Network. So, if you want your one-of-one custom Secret Network kicks, this is your only chance. So it'll never be repeated. Our brand portfolio is to be envied. It takes a lot for a brand to pass our exacting standards, not just for the in real life asset experience itself, but also you've got to consider the post-mint redemption process as well. And there aren't that many providers, that will make that truly high quality one-of-one merchandise. But when we find them, these are the artists that we want to support and onboard into crypto, because you tend to find that their followers are passionate, just like everyone here, right, is about crypto. And so that's what we're looking for. So effectively, we're bringing NFT utility to in real life artists and artisans with an easy to approach NFT platform.
I'll hop in over here. Yeah, I'll just hop in and fill in a little bit of the technical side real quick. Yeah, so we had talked in the past AMA about V1 and V2, right, and what that NFT mechanism looks like. So real quick, V1 or version 1, it's set up so that the in real life asset, whether it be a good or service, is digitally packaged, right? So V1 grants users the ability to buy, sell, trade that asset like any other NFT in an environmentally responsible manner, right? While preserving the full value of the asset, including all customization. So for example, with Genesis, there's been a lot of questions on, what about shoe size, or like, am I going to mint the right size, etc. The size gets decided when you redeem. So that V1 is your ticket for that in real life asset, right? It's a digital package version of it, but things like size and certain customizations, like adding your initials, etc., those don't get those don't change, or those don't get inputted until the asset's actually redeemed. But the nice thing about all that is we don't have to worry about shipping. We don't have to worry about storage. We don't have to worry about upkeeping inventory, right? And so in that sense, one, it's way more fungible because it's a full custom. And then so for the user, you're not stuck trying to sell a size 5, right? If you were a size 11, etc. So V1 is your representation of the physical asset, whether that be an experience or a product, in the same way that PFP is a representation of you, right, in the digital space. And so when you're ready to commit to bridging your asset, quote unquote, bridging your asset into the real world, that's when you interact with our tooling. So just a quick snapshot, and I'm going to go over, just real surface level. But you essentially will send in your V1 to our tooling. Our tooling is going to take away that V1. It's going to send you a corresponding V2, and that V2 asset will have all of the fields for us to do the redemption, right? Both with custom and for you to get your content, like a bench photo of your shoe being made. We set it up that way because we didn't want to have any double spend issues where somebody's trying to sell a V1 even though they've already gotten the shoe. So you'll see, especially when we start teasing the artwork in the next week or two, it'll be very clear when somebody owns a V2 versus a V1, right? And then, so V2, version 2, it's equivalent of your NFT purchase order and receipt. Okay, so it'll come with custom artwork that's linked to your V1, just like I said, and then V2 allows you to interact with our in real life provider anonymously, right? So this is a big one too, and this is part of that utility that we're trying to ship is, getting real life assets requires a lot of real and personal information. So what we did was we bundled in the cost of the shoe, cost of shipping, all the costs essentially. So you never have to pull out a credit card. Once you've purchased your V1 and you've redeemed it for a V2, you can go through the whole process and get that, for example, in Genesis, that shoe shipped to your door or to an anonymous address, cost-free. Okay, the only possible cost there is, and we'll provide some educational content on it, is if you want to use a shipping service, right? Anonymous shipping service. But yeah, so in our tooling, you'll be able to provide all that information privately, to finalize a product order. And then on the back end, our provider, the in real life partner, for example, Matt B, can then provide you with all the custom info and content that is unique to your order, right? So tracking, again, bench photos. So that's something just special that we want to provide, where you get to see / you have this content of your shoe being made, for example, with Genesis.
Awesome. So Gio said it earlier, this whole merch thing has been done. So what sets the Genesis drop for V-IRL apart from all the rest?
I'll start this one, Jemima. So that everything we've covered so far is kind of what people knew, right? So now we're getting into the alpha, right? And maybe I'll get to share some today. I don't know. To answer your question, JPEG, to really understand what V-IRL are doing, you have to really peel back the onion, right? So we like to think of it in 3 layers, right? So this onion is unpeeling in 3 layers. So first layer is, it's not really about the shoe. We've said that, on this call and before. It's not really about the merch. It's not even really about the NFT. It's about redefining NFTs and their use cases forever. So that's a bold statement. So let's just take those in sort of order. So it's not the shoe, right? So we've discussed before. It's not the merch has been done. Limited edition's been done. But never custom one of one, never related to a blockchain specifically, and certainly never in private. Fine. And Jamal will go into later on about, the actual cost of this merch nonetheless, and the quality thereof. But it's not really about the merch. The second layer, it's not really even about the NFT, but let's just talk about that for a moment. So we like to think of your V1 in some ways like a financial call option, right? In TradFi. So some of you probably know a call option is the right, but not the obligation to buy an asset on or before a specific point in time, right? So you've got the right, but not the obligation to buy it on or before a point in time. So the one difference between a traditional call option and your viral NFT is that with a call option, you still have to pay for the asset, right? And you don't with the viral NFT. But another difference is that the asset with viral that you have an option over is extremely limited. We haven't revealed that number as yet, but rest assured it will be extremely limited. So there's X number of pieces in effect. Is never to be repeated. And the asset is deflationary, as in, as the shoes are claimed in Genesis Drop, the shoes, there becomes fewer and fewer shoes available. So to understand the effect of these deflationary mechanics on a limited run of merch, you only need to look at something like Unisocks, right? So I shared this in our Discord, which is where a lot of this alpha is first released. So if you're not in the Discord, you should come and join and get involved in the fun in the alpha. But these things are going for $60,000. They were trading at $120,000, and they're not even customizable, right? So the next question that I get asked is, why do people buy them? Why do people pay $60,000 for a pair of socks? There's two reasons: price speculation, because they think they'll be worth more, and number two, it's a bet on internet culture. So another difference, just moving on, between a traditional option and your V1 is that, and this is really critical to understand, your V1, your V2 does as well, but we'll come on to that in a minute, but your V1 provides an income in inverted commas. So not an income in the traditional sense, like an income of USD or whatever, but rather an income in the form of alpha, airdrops, we'll come back to that, exclusive community, and other benefits. So an income in terms of alpha, airdrops, community, and other benefits. So the real mind gymnastics starts to come in when you start to ask questions like, what if that income was in perpetuity? Another question might be, how does the value relate to the amount of shoes left? And these questions are the essence of what Jemama's referred to previously as the gamification of the NFT, or what I would call the optionality included in the tooling, right? Another fun question might be, and this kind of gets your head spinning, what if you knew that the value of the income, in inverted commas, the value of the income associated with hodling a V1, what if that was greater than the value of the shoe plus the value of V2? Like, would you ever redeem it? So in essence, you can hold your V1 to take a price speculative bet related to a deflationary asset within a blockchain that's surely going to grow in use, right? So whilst you hold it, you gain an income in loose terms via airdrops, etc. But what's going to happen to the price of this V1 NFT when there are only 50 shoes left, secrets at 50, and privacy is the conversation happening all around crypto in the way that we know it should be, right? And all of this, knowing that you can exercise that option at any time you choose by exchanging it for a V2 via our tooling and claim your merch, in this case shoes. And the real mind-blowing thing is that even after you've claimed the shoes, you still qualify for V2 Alpha, airdrops, community, and other benefits. So at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you're never left with just a JPEG. JPEG. And of course, if you just want to say, look, be quiet, Geo, just ignore me, forget all that, and just go for it. Like, just ball it with a pair of custom secret network shoes, do it. Go for it. Flex it. As we like to say, do you.
Yeah, I got a couple thoughts on that that I'll add, but just pause for a minute and let that soak in. Slash JPEG, if you have any specific questions on what Geo shared.
I don't have any specific questions related to that. I got a couple more here. If you want to say,
okay,
speak
yeah,
on any.
Yeah, let me. If you were following Geo, he shared sort of, it's not about the shoe or the merch. It's not even really about the NFT. And then so I'll touch on this sort of third point that he brought up. it's about redefining NFTs and redefining how NFTs are used. So, all right, so I'm gonna go into a little bit of a spiel, but then I promise that I'm actually gonna drop some stuff that I think is the thing that I'm most excited about in all of this, right? So it's all about the evolving use cases of NFTs, right? So Viral has major plans for our tooling. These plans include use cases, including, but they're then definitely not limited to redefining e-commerce, especially when it comes to purchasing goods and services with crypto, right? So doing it while preserving privacy, and that's really only possible on Secret Network. That's why we always said, or at least I always say, I hope I've been saying it in the community, that Viral is not going to stay in Secret Network, in the sense that our audience base very much includes other chains. It includes non-crypto native users, but we can only do what we're doing with Secret Network, right? Because of that privacy preserving layer. So we're not going anywhere. Our tooling's not going anywhere. We're going to be on Secret, but our audience base is massive, right? Because when you talk about e-commerce, that's huge. That's everywhere, right? And so if you can do it with while preserving privacy, then crypto-based e-commerce becomes a little more viable, right? Because you don't want everybody to know what you're buying. Whether it's just a pair of shoes or something else. Like, having privacy is a critical portion of just being able to do you, right? And so merch is our first iteration of this e-commerce tooling, right? And that's what we're doing with Genesis. But yeah, like, all of this is, focus on this idea that we're interested in ecosystem growth in Secret Network. We're a small, we're a small community, we're a small chain in the grand scheme of crypto. And so part of what we're trying to do is make things like fiat on-ramps, right? So non-crypto native users can come in and see Secret Network as their first crypto experience, right? And understand how privacy plays a major role and really exposing them to privacy. The second plan for our tooling is verification and authentication of in real life goods, right? And so here's a little something that we haven't shared so far, but imagine not only owning a pair of Genesis Secret Network like NFTs, but then you go and redeem and you get a pair of Jordans or Air Force Ones, right? Then imagine anyone with a smartphone, whether you're Android, iPhone, etc., anyone with a smartphone is able to scan your piece of merch, yourself included, and then prove on chain that you're authentic, right? That they're authentic. So not only is your ownership in the virtual world represented by the NFT in your wallet, but the kicks on your feet can be undeniably verified as authentic to the collection and tied to your NFT. So that's a little seed of alpha that I'm going to drop right there, and that every one of our pieces, whether it be Genesis drop or one of our future ones, every one of them will be verifiable, authentic, and I don't know if I'm going to give everything away on how we're doing that, but it's already in the works, and it's already being built into the shoe, right, for Genesis. So the next major plan for our tooling, and I shared this a little earlier, was access control and ticketing, right? So this is a big one. We have like, everybody goes to events. In the past, crypto events have used like QR codes and like little redemption, or bracelets. We're gonna take this to the next level, right? Because all those aren't really, those. Yeah, you could copy, you could gamify, like or you can like spoof a bracelet or a QR code, but this is a big one, right? So we're already planning to have some events in the next so post Genesis, we're planning on having some events where we're going to demo our tooling. And so here's the thing that I had said that I would share if there's enough people on this AMA, and I looking at the list, I think we're good. So imagine this, okay? And this is major and a huge integral part of our model, right? And I want to be really clear, we are doing this. This isn't a theory, right? This isn't something we hope to do. This is actually something we're integrating from Genesis on, okay? So what if you wanted to get into an exclusive crypto party, right? So maybe decentral, right? I hear that there's a party going on there for Secret Network, right? So what if you want to get into an exclusive crypto party, and to do so, you could tap a piece of our merch collection at the door, and it's verified that you have a ticket for that event and that you belong there, right? So no doxing, no etc. You've gotten your piece of merch that is again integrated into our verification system. To enter the party, the bouncer holds up the smartphone. You tap your piece of merch on it, whether it be your hat or the sleeve of your shirt, right? And then it gets you in. Okay, so your piece of merch acts as a ticket, but also as a way that you can rep you in real life, right? So we go to events, and I don't know how many people scrapbook, but people keep tickets and stuff, and it's our desire to feel like, yeah, I went to this thing. This is a representation of it. But what if you had an amazing pair of custom one of one Jordans that got you into the event and that rep Secret Network on the side, right? Or what if you had a custom one of one hat, that again says Secret Network, or what if it's shade, or like whatever you're stoked about, that will be what you can put in your scrapbook instead of a paper ticket or a QR code or a bracelet, right? And so we're tagging our merch not only so that you can authenticate it, but so that we can always, for example, whitelist you into events and give you other special perks, right? So like I said, we're doing this from Genesis. This is something that we've already planned. This is something that we're executing. So from Genesis on, so from our very first collection, your piece of merch, if you redeem it, will have this tag in it, right? And so what that'll allow us to do is, for example, maybe in a year, we do a Secret Network event, right? And you've joined our Diamond Hands group or something. What we'll do is we'll whitelist all the unique IDs of the tags of the merch that you've owned. And then, for example, what about open bar, right? Everybody with Diamond Hands can just go to the bar, tap their piece of merch, get it scanned, and then they get free drinks for the night, right? So that's just the start of the teasing that we want to do. But yeah, so to answer the question, going all the way back about what makes the merch in Genesis Drop special, really it's our tools. It's Matt B. We picked Matt because he's just a powerhouse when it comes to being our first collection, and then really it's a community. Yeah, so all of what we're doing is to create this community, because yeah, when we want to have fun in real life, we need people. You can't get around that.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Definitely something that's not been done before. So I got a quick question, kind of just to take a one step back with the V1s and the V2s. Are those interchangeable within collections, or if I get a Matt B V1, even 2 years from now, it's only redeemable for the Matt B collection?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I'll take this one, Gio. I know I've been talking a lot, but I'll take this one real quick. So V1, V2 is unique to the collection. So for example, Genesis is focused on Matt and these custom shoes. V1, V2 is tied in its own smart contract, right? And so no, you cannot swap between collections in at the surface level. But with that said, we will, and Gio had mentioned this, there's a lot of gamification, right? So one of the things I want to make super clear is with an in real life merch provider, you can't. So we create contracts with all of our providers, right? One, to ensure exclusivity, so they can, if they try to use our traits, for example, if a pair of Secret Network shoes ends up being 50 or 60 grand, of course Matt is going to start getting like a little interested in using some of those traits for outside of collection pieces, but we've signed contracts with them, and so if he does that, it's a breach of contract, and then we can go after him, right, for that. And we never get to that because we create these really strong partnerships. For those that were in our Discord for the Matt AMA, he's an awesome dude. But we want to ensure that, for our users, the people that are actually putting their money into our collections and into our ecosystem, that they don't ever get rugged by the provider, right? So we have contracts with them. But with that said, if you know anything about contracts, you can't have an open-ended contract. You can't have a contract that has no end date. So we're going to announce this a little later, but essentially with all of our providers, we're going to have a set redemption window, and we are going to incentivize and have people.
Thank you for listening in on the Agents of the Roundtable Community AMA. Follow us on Twitter at secret_AOTRT and every Monday at 7 p.m. UTC in the Secret Network Discord.